Okay, so this is a silver 4 brand coaching session. So it's Brand Tristana on red side versus Ezra Brom on blue side. Junglers on blue side is Vi, and then on red side is Kha'Zix. So like the only thing, like looking at these matchups, right before the game even starts, I would say the only real thing that the two real things that you have to worry about here, right? The minor one is being caught by a Brom Q, and then you being like not behind the minions, and then Ezreal can pop off the Brom stun like kind of quickly if there's like no minions in the way. The more major one is the Vi, right? Vi ganking bot lane is like the only way I really see you dying down in bot lane. I think you can poke that bot lane relatively easily, particularly the Brom if he overextends. I think generally you should be winning this lane 2v2. It's just the Vi factor. So the only real thing you need to make sure you're doing, in my opinion here, is like, okay, Vi is kind of scary, can gank bot quite early. Vi can gank champions like the Vi and the Jarvan and things like that can gank bot lane like level 2, level 3. So I'd be kind of concerned about that the most in terms of like how I'm going to die bot lane and what's going to be preventing me from doing my job, okay? Don't hold back. Oh, I never hold back, okay? One of the things I tend to do, maybe a little bit annoyingly, is mention the same point over and over again, but yeah, we'll see. It's a good holdout for looking out for ganks. This is fine. Okay, bait ping's already been placed down. You know it's going to be a good game.
Minions have spawned.
Okay, when you're playing like a support where you need to put pressure on the bot lane as much as possible, okay? Just don't spend too long pulling. Chuck out the W, do a couple of auto attacks and move into lane quite quickly. Don't get caught up here too much helping your jungler. Okay, because you want to try and get into lane before they do. Yeah, like this is too much. You're helping too much already. Like you shouldn't do W on the Gromp, okay? Your job here in lane is to harass and annoy the bot lane as much as possible, okay? Like you're over helping now at this stage. You might have, I don't think you did, but you nearly missed out on melee minions because of that too. Okay, I'm just gonna watch that. Like you had your W ready here, right? Just because you used it on Gromp. Alright, your W is ready. So here straight away, you should be you should just be W poking. And as mentioned before, you know, the only way you're going to get caught out is by projectiles. So just use the minions. You got Brom Q as a projectile, Ezra Q as a projectile. Just stand behind these melee minions, and like as soon as Ezra walks up to CS, W him. If Brom walks up to use his relic shield, W him. I think helping for level 2 is good. But as we mentioned before, Vi can gank bot lane really, really early, so that'd be like the main thing that I'd be kind of concerned about. Like you have no vision in above you, and you're looking to make an aggressive play here. Holy crap, you're going all in. Yeah, and as we mentioned at minute 0 of the game, Vi gank. Yeah. Okay, so every single game that you're going into when playing Brand, since you said this is your favorite champion to play, like, I mean, you just need to know, like, what is the main threat on the enemy team? What's going to stop me from doing my job? Okay, so just straight away from champion selection, telling you the champions that are on the enemy team. The kill threat of Ezra Brom isn't that high, but it's just the enemy jungle that's going to screw you over. You full commit into a team fight at level 2 with level 2 pressure. Generally okay, but you got to set up the vision before that, right? If you've already got lane dominance in the lane and you can tell that you're going to get level 2 first and you don't need to commit into the wave, that you should already have vision somewhere like around here to anticipate like maybe jungle commits. I would not also flash in. Like level 2 on Brand is okay, like especially when if the enemy team are level 1, but I think flashing in is really greedy, okay? Like, even if you land that stun on Brom to stun him, he just flashes away back himself and stays alive. you're you're getting too hyped too quickly. Okay, it's just way too full on. Yeah, I would never really want people to commit flashes in level 2. It's nice that you've identified that you are level 2 and you can play a bit more aggressive, but like here you land the W here, right? You land the W. You can easily throw a Q in this direction without even flashing, right? And it might connect onto the Brom. Okay? Like, flashing here doesn't do you any favors anyway. Because once you've done your Q, right? Which you can do from this position, because there's no minions here blocking. That's it. You're kind of done. You land a stun, you get a couple autos in potentially, but that's it, right? There's nothing else for you to land after you flashed here, right? So it's just a complete wasted flash anyway. So yeah, and then as expected, because you didn't prepare yourself against an early Vi gank, which honestly champions like Vi, Jarvan, you know, a lot of the physical junglers will be down potentially in the bot side early on, looking for players, especially against the mobile support, so just got a little too carried away there. Enemy bot lane are recalling. Okay. Yeah, I think pushing this wave is the right call because of Tristana's E passive anyway. It's not like you can freeze it. Tristana's now kind of doing your job. She's warding for you. Like, yeah. Did you put that ward there? Yeah, so you don't need to put a ward here. Like, no one's going to be sneaking into this brush. Like, if Braum enters the brush, it's like, then you can then maybe start thinking about warding it. But there's no way, with the wave pushing in as it is, you've already got more of your own minions than enemy minions. Plus, it's like Tristana naturally pushes in the lane in anyway. Like, this is a wasted ward. Like, I'd much rather you whack this ward up here into the river up here, just in case like Vi does a random pathing down here and catches you off, because you've already used your summoners. Like, the enemy bot lane hasn't had to use any flashes whatsoever. Both you and your Tristana have already used every single summoner possible, which is leaving you like giga exposed. I'd actually be really concerned that you're going to get ganked down here again, right? So, like, this ward is unhelpful. This control ward I can kind of understand a little bit because you might get ganked from behind. I'd probably would recommend maybe if you're going to put a control ward here this early, I'd recommend putting in this brush as opposed to here. Just because it gives you a little bit more entry notice, like if they're coming into your own jungle here, right? But this ward's a waste, and you just need to make sure that you're protecting yourself against jungle ganks, really. Because as I said at the start of the game, it's the only thing that's going to get you killed, and has already got you killed once, right? Q poke there's fine, E poke is there's fine. Okay, just be careful because you do have that passive. I feel like, okay, so I like that you're being proactive in the lane, but I think you're just wasting your spells as well at the same time. I think just, you're burning through your mana, pun intended, like, really quickly here for not really a whole lot. Like, when you're playing Brand at level 3, your primary objective is to get the 3 stack boom on someone, right? Like, WQ here is great. You do have the potential here to maybe, if you feel like you're safe for it, to do an E on Braum, but you would take a lot of damage back. But Tristana still would do a decent amount of damage on this, at this part to like kind of cover you a little bit. But here, like putting your E randomly on the Ezreal here when you have no Q ready, it's just wasted mana at this point because it's not cheap. It's 70 mana. And your mana pool is like, so you're using like 15% of your mana just to do a random E. Like the E damage doesn't do that much anyway, right? And you've already got your gold stacks from Spell Thieves, from using your abilities on the Braum. And you've already procced your mana for band stack. Well, you should have at least anyway, from the Braum anyway. So like the E is just like a mana drain. It doesn't really do anything for you. And you're going to go out of mana really quickly if you keep doing stuff like this. Like that's the same again with the Q poke here. It's like it's just not needed. Do you know what I mean? That you're just literally just going through your mana like crazy. Okay, that's better. Like the W poke, generally I would rather you just do your W poke because it's more guaranteed rather than just chucking out your Q. Like, it's nice again that you land the Q, but my main concern is, right, is that when you go out of mana, when you're already at this stage, right, you need to have enough mana to do your 3 abilities together. So you need 190 mana in order to even activate your passive, right? That's where a good chunk of your damage comes from, is from that explosion. You don't have enough mana now to do that explosion. I'd say, like, if I was the enemy bot lane, I'd be like wanting to have a fight down here. It's just because of, like, you're out of resources here. Like, you did it, now you're out of mana, okay? Now you're just a 50 auto-attacking champion here. You can do nothing down here. You have no way to stun someone. You're now dead, You're never gonna have enough mana now to even do like an EQ to disengage if you needed to, right? And I think they identified that. I mean, regardless of the jungler being here, I think they identified that straight away. That you're out of mana. You're just a caster minion here now at this point. If Braum lands a Q on you there, you're dead. Because you have no flash and you have no way to disengage from that at all. So you really need to look at your mana management in lane. You shouldn't just be chucking out your spells as soon as they go off cooldown just for some poker harassment. You really need to be smarter in terms of, if you want to poke, just do the occasional W. Don't just start like doing W and then chucking out your Q and then like throwing out E whenever you can and then another Q and then another W. Like, it's just way too much. You need to have some mana in the bank to have potential to disengage if you are getting ganked, or to catch them out if they make a gross misplay, right? If Ezreal does like a random arcing shift forward, you do EQ and then W and then ignite, like the odds of you getting a kill at that point are like so much higher, right? Rather than if the Ezreal jumps in and you only have enough mana to do your W. Does that make sense? Because now it's Tristana's having to play the lane by herself. You got staggered recall, which is one of the worst things that can happen for you in bot lane. You're now going to be a bit behind in XP. Taking a lot of, you've already taken a lot of damage, but you've already come into lane here. You honestly just need to use your minions more against like double projectile setups. I think, what are you doing? You just AFK talking in the chat? What's going on? Like, when you've got full mana here, that's when you can do like random shit, right? When you've got full mana, you can do like a W on the wave and then an E, just like poke them down, get some gold stacks and a spell mana flow band stack, right? That's what you do. On this kind of minion, you W it, then you E it, and you get, it's not for the damage, it's just for the gold and for the mana flow, right? Because now you're in the opposite effect. You're in the literal opposite effect of this is like bipolar mana like stuff going on here. Like, you've been full mana now for like 45 seconds or something, and at this point that you have to use your mana. Just do the W, do an E, get a little bit of gold, get a little bit of mana flow band stack here, right? Right, Kha'Zix is kind of coming in looking for a play. You're mental though. I hate everything about that play. Okay, I like in a way that you did kind of like set that up, but what, I don't know. Do you really need to flash for that? Do you need to do that? I don't think you do. Like, I think you're hot-headed, haha. Like, I think you just play it out. Like, if you need to flash a little bit later on, you got so much distance here, right? Until they get to turret to play it off. Like, you can always choose to flash a little bit later. Just see how the initial fight goes with you looking like you're overextending with low HP, and then play it off that. If they look to try and go onto you then, and like, then you walk backwards a bit more towards your turret, right? But you've got so much distance here that they have to cover that you don't have to panic flash that quick. It's fine to you. Nah, it's not fine at all. It's really not fine. Like, you just wait it out. Because it's just like at this point here, if I freeze, I want to freeze it just before you flash.
Love sign.
Hey QN, thank you for the resub. But here is like, is it 7:35? Like here, you're already overextended, right? Which is fine because your jungler's coming here. Like if I was this bot lane, I would, and if I felt a bit cocky, I could see the potential of them just saying, okay, this brand is overextended. I'm gonna like collapse on him. Like if the Braum maybe could like W over to the cannon minion and then Q you, right? Like here, you're using your health as like as a bait. If they disengage straight away, then you're looking for a target that you can go onto here, right? Just play it off with the Kha'Zix, see what happens, and you have enough. You got 2 dashes on your team and your flash to play it up if, like, you know, they look like they're getting away or whatever, right? Just give this Kha'Zix a chance to kind of close in this gap a little bit. And thank you, Chunky Punch. Thank you for the prime sub. Welcome to the Berry Bush. Because honestly, I think in this play here, it's more about just getting the Braum. Really, like I think doing it this way, you kill the Ezreal, but you die for it. But I think you could probably end up getting the Braum for free. But you just play it. You literally just play it out for the first few seconds because you've got so much distance here, right? They're many, the whole screen away from safety. You can just take it a little bit slow. There's no urgency here at all. Just because all the angles are all covered. Okay, good movement here, right? You've already identified that by the time you get into bot lane, there's going to be nothing to do, right? All your minions have been pushing it under turret, and then Tristana's going to recall the buy, right? That's what should be happening, okay? So one or two things are going to be happening here. Like, you might have to show yourself around mid to try and help around here, or your team might end up like looking to try and do a dragon, which Brian is pretty good at helping at. Like, your movement here towards mid is good, really good, okay? Yeah, like you're in the right time, you're at the right place, the right time, get the flash of the Vi. I'd say at this point, you should help push in this lane. Because if Tristana is still recalling, you have nothing else to do. Your mid lane is dead with no teleport, and so is the mid lane. Just pushing this wave, right? Carrying out the water sign, just help pushing this wave though. I mean, this is fine too. Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, good. Okay, I don't like this though. Like, okay, look at the map, right? Here, when you're going into like dangerous territory, like river, fog of war issues. So if we look at your vision here, right? You don't really have much on the map telling you what's going on. You can see the Braum coming across here, but look where your team is. Just look at where your teammates are, right? So your jungler's back on KFC. Your Tristana is still at her tier 3. Your mid lane is at her tier 3. Okay. Anything that breaks out here, you will be literally by yourself. Okay, and you're not strong. You're behind. You died twice, right? You're behind. Enemy team have all the vaults, right? Well, like they're level 6, right? You're not level 6, so you've already. You're basically one of the weakest people on the field right at this point. You have no like right to be here. Okay, you're in like illegal territory right now. You should not be here, and you should not be looking for any fights by yourself like this. Like this ward here, you can't go for that by yourself. You have no teammates near you, okay? You're gonna die. And that could have been so bad. If that Vi was there like 1 second quicker, you'd be dead again, and you'd be 0-3, right? Like, you're still fucking around in this area, right? You've got no one nearby. Your Tristana is under turret because she's having to CS. Your jungler is trying to like randomly help you down because you won't move out of this situation, this area, for like no reason. You already got out of a situation where it looked like you probably should have died anyway. But You 100% deserve to die there. The fact that you didn't notice that the first time after you got caught out by like the pinch by the Vi and the Braum, this is illegal territory, right? Alright, so coming back down to bot lane. Yeah, I mean, but you're playing on the back foot on Brand, which is already like really, really rough, so... You're overcommitting when you're missing stuff as well. It's just like there's like no... When you've decided that you've done something, it's like you can't not come off like and identify that the situation has changed, right? Like, obviously you had something in your mind here about this control that, like, you must go for this control no matter what, right? You know, you failed the attempt, you got no one around you to help you, and you managed to get out of a slippery situation, you're like, I must go back for this control and take it out. It's the same here of this fight. Like, this fight is literally the same mindset, because it's like, you go in, you do E, you miss your Q, but you land your W, but you're still moving forward, right? There's no reason to be moving forward here at all. They can so easily turn this fight onto you. If you land a stun here on Braum, like even then, you don't even get much off of that because it's okay. Like you get a decent 3-stack combo on the Braum. He pulls up his shield. He'll then block your ulti, but then he'll still be on like half HP. But he just backs off away from the fight, right? And he has ulti to disengage and stuff. It's like at this point in the game, especially when you're behind or like even against the tank here. You take the free poke damage and then you back up, right? And then you get them lower and you get them a little bit lower again. And then you then look for the execute kill. You cannot look for a full 100% to 0 kill in this situation, right? Here you identified, all right, fuck this Brand, I'm going to kill him, right? That's exactly what's happening. You're moving forward. You're face checking a brush to do what, right? It's just insanity. The fact that this Braum randomly moves forward as well is just like the crazy bit, but like the Braum was safe, but nothing should have happened from that. You 100% should die. The only reason I think you get away from that is that Ezreal Arcane shifts out. But yeah, I think you need to just kind of understand that when you're behind, I mean, that sucks. It sucks in the way that you got to kill there, right? Because it's just one of those in these lower elo games where it's just you get a reward for something that's actually really stupid, and then it just like reinforces like, oh okay, like going in like that like crazy is actually a good thing. It's not. It really isn't. That should not be happening, right? Like if you get promoted up to like gold or whatever, like that, you will get you'll be bent over and paddled there. It's so hard. I'm surprised it was like even that close. Okay, so same situation here, right? Your Tristana has to recall. There isn't a whole lot for you to be doing mid. At this point, I'd already be start venturing off into like back towards here and around the mid area. Because you kind of have your jungle close-ish nearby, and you've also got your mid lane that's like on fallen resources. Like you might be able to do something here, and also get some vision around for your mid lane. Because you're not going to be able to do anything bot side. Okay, this is good. This is good. Alright, this is the second time that you've actually done like good movement on the map, like overall, right? You can't really help with that kill because it's like Yone's E and he's just gonna like zip off. By the time you get there, he's already out. So don't put. Okay, right. Let's have a look at the vision for your team. Okay, I would say argue like this ward, clearing this ward is difficult but possible. Okay. After this, even moving forward here is a bit too much. But after this, right? Look where you are on the map, right? Look at the vision that you have. The only thing that you can see is Braum, right? And your Yone was already like pushing into a tally, okay? So if the jungle's nearby, he's going to be really fucking nearby because he's seen that his tally has been engaged on in his jungle, and he's going to be wanting to defend that kind of point, right? Okay? You cannot be left alone in this situation here by yourself. And the worst case is you kind of double down on it and you start face checking bushes and stuff. Like, you don't know where the enemy jungler is. Vi's like actually right there. So it's like you're playing a very dangerous game. Here's a better move. You're in the right kind of area though, because you did rotate to mid. You're able to help here. Unfortunately, the Yone died extremely fast and didn't use his ulti. Okay. What's going on here now? Okay, so your mid lane has died. Okay. Honestly, I will laugh if anything good comes from this. Because now this Kha'Zix is in a really, really, really bad spot, right? He's getting pincered in. You can see the Braum here. You can see that the Vi's gone in. She's used her ulti. But don't forget your mid lane is dead. And their mid lane is still alive, right? Like, this Kha'Zix is in a really, really bad position. Honestly, he should just jump over this wall and then that's it, okay? Okay, we're full in, full ham, full ulti, everything. Yeah. Do you see, like, why you shouldn't go in there? Like, you really need to chill out on your flash. Like, you can support this situation from here, around that wall. Like, you don't have to flash in. You really don't have to even, like that's 2 times that you've had to do, you did aggressive flashes and you don't have to flash in. From here, you can do max range W and throw a Q over. You almost save the car though. It literally doesn't matter. Like, it's just the full out the wrong play, okay? The Kha'Zix is screwed in a 2v1 situation. You're a support, AP support that's really, really far behind. You can provide backup from behind this wall by doing WQ. The Kha'Zix, all he needs to do here is flash over this wall and get out. Or flash or jump over this wall. He just gets out, right? Okay? There's no reason to fight this, especially after your mid lane has just died right in front of your face mid, okay? The fact that your mid laner is dead and you're fighting in the mid lane should already be a warning sign for you at this early on in the game, is that you really shouldn't be fighting around a location where the lane has just died unless they're already really, really low in the first place, right? Okay? But you can support this situation. You just got to do it from a safe distance. You can, like, you just move over there here, anticipate that the Kha'Zix is going to flash or whatever here, WQ, whatever. If they get a bit closer, maybe they flash and pursue. Then you use your ulti, then you use your E, then if they go even crazier under turret, then you flash away, right? You just play it backwards. You don't play it forward, you play it backwards because you're in the back foot, because you haven't got the advantage here at all. You're double downing on a disadvantage. Like, even, like, say, right, Talia doesn't flash that. Like, look at all the amount of resources here that get used anyway, right? Brand flashes, Kha'Zix ultis, Brand ultis, Kha'Zix ends up having to flash here, right? Does he flash here at all? He doesn't even flash. Like, the resources spent by an immobile support here, like, no ulti now, no flash. He can't do anything now for the next 90 seconds. Just a complete disaster in this mid lane now. Alright.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Okay, got a dragon popping up in 1 minute. You're setting up vision for that. That's good. Okay, so I think that the strongest points for you this game so far is that your rotations have been good. Your vision setup has generally been good. I don't like you going giga deep though, when you've got like no one around you. But like generally, like your vision setup has been good, and your rotations going towards mid has been good. Okay, but you really need to chill out on your flashes, and your general like, you know, understand that you don't need to 100% zero people down every single time. You're playing Brand, you're playing a poke support like at the start, and then you can then you have a tool to execute them a little bit later on, okay? But it's so hard to 100% to zero someone, especially when you're behind as Brand. Like, it's almost never going to happen. So you just need to relax on that part. Like, I like this play. Like, you're seeing if Braum comes in and roams into mid, and then you can then poke him down for free. I like that. Now you're being a little bit stealth. I like it. It's good. I like it. One thing I would say though, if they do notice that you're in this brush by yourself, you're gonna have to like get your abilities down and then leg it. Like, you run in the opposite direction, because you can easily get caught off here. Okay. Like, if they were to face check that brush, don't just stand it, like throw everything down and then stay in there randomly. Like, you want to then just like make sure you move out the way. But this is like, what are you doing item-wise as well, by the way? Yeah, because now you're really far behind, right? It always feels bad to play Brand when you're playing when you're this far behind. I'd say your itemization is kind of fucked. Like, you're going Leandries, which is usually fine, but I'd honestly at this point urge you just to kind of switch into Rylai's quickly, and then finish off your Leandries, rather than investing still into Leandries. You still don't even have your tier 2 boots yet. You're really far behind. Like, oh, yeah. Yeah. So you just need to know when it's like on Brand. If you're really behind the lane, the only thing you can start doing is playing defensively, right? And you're playing like Peel. You just need to catch up. You're in a really bad position here right now. It's like, I think Brand is one of the worst supports to play when you're behind in lane. And you just have to go like utility, play really safe. You can't look for aggressive plays, otherwise you're just gonna make the situation even worse. And like, your Tristana was actually doing okay, but now you're like making her play like bad off it as well. Like, when you're playing already really bad, I think it's okay just to take a step back and go like, okay, I'm sucking ass this game. Just try not to force plays out of nothing, right? I'm liking the movement here in terms of the vision. I don't like you taking the mid lane's wave like that. I think you being around mid is fine. That's what you should be doing, though. Late laning phase is well over. You're in the right place at the moment. It's just, you just need to relax a little bit. You don't have a turret to fall back to if you do get engaged. Right now, you're just setting a vision still. Nothing's really broken out. You're doing like, this is okay. Don't look. Alright, as I said before, especially anyway, even if you're far ahead here, like, this is reaching. You're reaching for nothing, okay? Try and pull plays out of your ass. Like, you have no priority here at all. You're really far behind, okay? Right, yeah, you just got fucking raked. How do you play the fights later on? That's all I'm looking for now, really. Yeah, I mean, you're setting up Baron. I mean, it's okay. Like, taking away the scuttle is a little cringe in a way, but it's okay. It's not like, but it's all this stuff happening mid though, right? Like, I can see that you're tilted. Like you're a little bit AFK though. Maybe waiting for an item. I don't know how much more of this one I want to watch. I'm just trying to see what you do in fights. So we haven't really had a team fight. Yeah, like this flash again. It's just this is like just another one of your flashes, right? It's the third time now. You gotta kill. Just trying to see when you get back into this next fight. So the only neutral objective on the map is Baron. You still have that one ward there. I'm just trying to see, like, you're warding in the right area. A mid lane ward, honestly, would be more powerful than like this ward here. Just so you can see where they're rotating to, like, properly. Like, it would spot the Ezreal moving down here too. You're caring about the objectives when they're up, and before they're up, which is good. Like, your warding generally is decent, right? But like, once again, you have, I mean, you saw like 3 people bot. It's a bit of a desperation play. I think, I don't know. I mean, you gotta remember, right, that Tristana has a jump at least, right? So, but you have no way of getting out if you get caught, if anyone jumps you from this brush. I think you probably already feel like you're probably overextending here, right? There's no pressure really anywhere else on your map. You got nowhere top, no on top, no on bot, right? The only pressure that's on the map is mid, and you know they're gonna answer, right? Just trying to see when you're next active on the map, because it's just like whenever a team fight is broken out, you're already dead before the fight even really starts. You've missed out on like 2 or 3 team fights. Oh, I don't know what the fuck you doing here, lad. Like, look at how many people on the enemy team are alive, and then look at your team. Like, you don't have any priority over this. Just take the free minion wave mid and just eat that, and then just whatever. You can't contest this. Literally 2v4 at this point. I mean, you're doing the combo fine. The combo overall is okay. It's just so horrible to watch though, into like the Mordekaiser ult, knowing what's actually going on here. Your Alawi just fucking just saved that fight. Like, what the fuck? Your Alawi just 1v4'd. I want to watch that again because that was actually kind of sexy. She missed a tentacle there too. That was the best thing all game. Yeah, I mean, your Alawi just kind of salvaged your forced play there. Like, that shouldn't have even happened. Dude. Dude. I mean, I don't need to comment on that, right? How long are you doing this for?
Red team has slain the dragon. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Blue
That was a minute and a half. I mean, like, jungle really pissed you off at this point. Not okay, of course. Yeah, obviously it's not a good thing that you did. There was a Baron fight during that whole bit there that you could have joined in. I think you need to learn to do Mutal. I think Mutal would do wonders for you. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things like here we've taken from your own gameplay that you need to focus on and improve on, right? There's a lot of things that you've made mistakes on yourself. It doesn't justify the fact that, you know, Kha'Zix was being toxic. He was doing the bait pings all game, right? You just gotta mute. You have to mute, right? This is like, you went from like a 15% chance to winning the game to like literally the biggest gameplay moment that you could have this game at this point is getting a multi-ulti and under a Baron, get some passive explosions going off in close range and getting some chain explosions going off there, right? You had an opportunity, like, while you were dancing in Fountain, by the way, right? This is what the enemy's doing. Enemy team is doing Baron while you're dancing in Fountain. Alawi's having to try and hold off by herself. Like, your whole team is here, right? Apart from Yone. Okay, so it would be a 4v5. But this is where Brand's AoE really sticks out, right? Like, you could have impact here. Maybe not a lot, but like maybe, I don't know, maybe. I don't know, it's impossible to know because you're in base dancing, so. I don't think I want to watch the rest of this one. But like, there's a lot of things, like mechanical things. Alright, we'll start at the very beginning, okay? We'll just evaluate it very quickly from minute 0. At minute 0, at the start of this session, I said, you know, you need to evaluate what's going to stop you from doing what you want to do, right? And in your case, you're wanting to be really, really aggressive bot lane. You're probably going to be overextending bot lane. Tristana naturally pushing in the lane. So you're going to be overextended probably quite a lot in the lane, right? The only thing that's going to impact you is the jungler, right? You didn't ward against the jungler. Vi ganked bot lane level 2, as most Vi's usually do. It's like Jarvan, Vi, those kind of champions end up ganking bot lane a lot. Whenever you're playing Brand anyway, just ward the river, okay? Because that's probably going to happen a lot. Most of your games you're going to be pushing into the enemy team just because of your AoE clipping minions, right? You're always going to be looking for the level 2 advantage. Level 2 advantage on Brand is nice, but it's not game changing. I never want to see you flash, commit for a level 2 game change unless it's like ultra needed, right? Like this was too much. This is way too much. You didn't even need to flash it, right? That W is good. If you throw out your Q here straight away, as soon as you do the W, he gets stunned. He's stunned and you don't need to flash here, right? I want you to start flashing for no reason. Because there's 3 flashes this game where it was literally all the same. Where you were in range to do your Q anyway, but you flashed to try and help enhance your Q range. Stop doing it. Okay? You're overthinking the play. WQ is good, and after that, if Tristana jumps in, then you can maybe like look to helping out a bit more.
Berry bush, berry bush, berry bush, berry bush, berry bush.
You need to stop getting tilted as well. Your mental in games is honestly terrible, and you need to fix that. Okay? Samurai, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Thank you for the 6-month 3 sub. Thank you. That's like the second thing that you need to do as well. You're getting way too tilted. Like playing Brand, yeah, you're gonna have laning phases where you get absolutely dicked early, and then you're gonna feel absolutely garbage. But that's just, you then just have to go into defensive mode. You go Rylai's really, really early. You play the back foot. You're playing Peel. You got really nice slow utility with the Rylai's with your passive. You're just playing off that and getting as many passive stacks as possible on the enemy team and trying to stun priority targets, right? You just need to get out of the mindset that you are playing Brand and that you're going to go 10-0, okay? At that point, when you're behind the lane, once you died a couple of times, that's it. It's game over for you in terms of you being in carry status. You're now on the back foot. You're now going to be playing defensively, okay? You need to start making sure that when you go into these no-go areas where it feels like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, look at where your teammates are. Because there was that play in the river where you died. I'm just trying to remember where it was. Maybe a little bit later on here, right? Like, if you're going into the river, look at your minimap. Okay? Look at where your teammates are. Kha'Zix is nowhere near. Your mid lane has gone back to base. Your AD carries it. Like, if if only one of the, if only if your Tristana was still here, I still wouldn't even be doing this play. You can, if you're going to do anything extended in the river here, like especially even, don't even think about this ward, right? You can't even look at this ward if you're by yourself. It's so far deep. You're committing so far into the pit that if anyone comes around here, you're screwed. Vi's level 6. What's stopping her from queuing over the wall and ulting you if she's around, like setting up for the dragon, right? But you need to just respect the enemy team when you don't have that priority. Okay? You're literally walking into Narnia. You have no right to be there. And the fact that you even had... You were even gifted the fact that you got out of this situation and you didn't realize that you had no right to be there still. And you still went back in? Is actually just beyond belief, right? Like that... You got at that jail out of free card there the first time. You shouldn't even be there, and you got away with it, right? The second going back in though, the fact that you didn't understand that what you were doing was really, really bad is a massive like flag. You need to be paying attention more to where your teammates are, and if you can actually go into the fog of war. If you can't, that's fine. Just let the enemy team have control of that area for a little bit until your teammates are nearby. Okay? Because you're in the mindset of like, I can't give the enemy team any vision. Or like, you know, if I land a stun, I must commit 100%, like no matter what, right? It's just, you need to relax the fuck. Like there will be more opportunities, right? You just need to take them when they come, not just force them out of thin air, right? One of the things that I did like about your gameplay was rotations though. So like you're coming out of base, you're looking around mids, you're proactive twice, you help mid lane situation twice, and you got some like decent vision around, like preemptively warding the objectives. I'm fine with you doing that. Just make sure you're just doing that though, without going so deep like in this that's river situation here where you're just literally by yourself. Okay, and no one's gonna help you if you get caught. Because if you get caught for it, then it means like that, and you have enough teammates nearby, it means they're committing onto you. You can still do all of the things that you need to do, and then they've used a lot of abilities on you, and then your team can then collapse onto them, if that makes sense, right? Then it ends up being an advantage for you. It ends up being like a bait play, really, in the end, right? But generally, like apart from like doing stuff like this happened twice. You went into this brush here with like no vision whatsoever, like crazy deep, no one near you. Okay, apart from these two situations, the other preemptive warding that you were doing was good. Your rotations coming back from base when you had died, going into mid lane, you were doing, I want you to continue doing those things, okay? Those were good things. It's just, you gotta chill out. You gotta try and do mute all. Stop being tilted. If you're behind, it's fine, it happens. You can't win every single laning phase. But just understand that it's okay to be behind and know and to adjust when you are losing lane, right? That's all you need to do. So stop random, and also the mana management as well. Stop randomly throwing abilities out like you're giving the enemy free samples at a supermarket, right? You need to stop flash committing every time your flash is up, okay? And yeah, just do that and you'll be like 10 times better, honestly. Like this is one of the most tilted AP support games I think I've seen. Like I could just tell, like obviously the AFK and base was the icing on the cake, but like you're playing like you're always ahead when you're not, and you just need to identify the threats, prevent them from happening. I don't know what else to say really, I'm just repeating myself, but it's just like, yeah, there's a lot here that you need to take on, and I hope you had notes down, and I hope that helps. Just chill and stop being tilted. That really is it. Can I look at your win quickly? I don't know. I think I've already spent a lot of time on this one, to be honest. I think that's already quite a long session, I think, wasn't it? If I go into another VOD, I'm going to be like at least another half an hour. But there's like I don't need to like see a victory and see like how you play. Like if like that game should be like a wake up call that some of those things there are just basic fundamentals and should never happen anyway, right? Like regardless of how bad you are, your autopilot should be aware of like some of the things that you're doing, right? So yeah, I think hopefully that's just like a wake up call in some of the severe mistakes that you're making. There are some like more minor ones, but then it's just like then you did some good things that game too, right? I'd say like the hardest thing to do, like the rotation stuff. You know, like I don't know if you were here when I was talking to the Nautilus player about how their rotations were just like non-existent. Your rotations on a brand were actually really good. It's just the mechanics and tiltedness need to be heavily improved on. Okay. Usually, honestly, at this ELO, usually it's the other way around. Usually the mechanics and in silver people are actually okay. And then the roaming is like non-existent, and then they stay in lane for 20 minutes. But you did a really good job like rotating and preemptively assessing our vision for objectives. It's just the mechanics were just well beneath. What is this? Is this silver? I mean, I say well beneath. It's like it's more like bronze, honestly. Maybe even iron in some of the cases. It was you really need to. If you can pick up your mechanics, reevaluate how you're treating fights. Honestly, you'd probably be gold in a month if you do like a few games a day or a couple of games a day. Just stop being told. Bring up your mechanics. Those two things alone are like the big ones, really. And then you'll be fine, I think. Because your rotational stuff is honestly on point for like platinum, emerald. Apart from the fog of war stuff, right? But like the general positive rotations and stuff were like on point. Like I don't have any complaints there. So it's just, yeah, the mechanics are bringing you down for sure. Whew.